Hello everyone, my name is Dylan Fulk. I'm the Director of Sales here at Practical Software Solutions. Hope everybody's doing all right today. I've been working with Practical since 2013. Been focused on the growing the horticulture industry in my time here, and more specifically, focus on helping companies find the right business systems for them. So that's what we're here for today. We're going to talk about business systems. This is an educational class, so we're not going to talk about anything that I sell necessarily, but more so talk about the processes that go into picking out the right business system for you. So we're going to work through this pretty quick today. If you have any questions or concerns, I will have my contact on the last slide. Feel free to reach out to me and we can set up a one-on-one and discuss this. And I'll work with you either way, right? If you're not the right fit for us, I'll be more than happy to uh, say that and admit that, and we can continue to work to help find the right system for you. Uh, so, so let's go ahead and jump on in. At the end of the day, we have a lot of similarities, right? We all want to run a successful business. We want to successfully manage our employees, successfully handle our money, and a good business system and the right business system can help in all these aspects. So what we have to do first is we need to identify what kind of company we are, right? Are we a full-blown manufacturer? Are we just a distribution company? Or we might just be a financials only company, right? In this industry, we don't see a whole lot of financial only industries, but companies, excuse me, but a lot of distribution companies and manufacturing companies. And we need to identify this and identify to what extent we're willing to manage these processes. So if we're a manufacturing company, are we going to track time? Are we going to track labor? Or are we just tracking inventory and managing our products, right? So these are all questions we need to ask ourselves. With complexity comes complex tools, right? So I'm sure we can all remember back when we first started our company. I can remember back I started a little guitar string company. And it was a small. I ran it out of my house and didn't really need any complex tools, right? I needed a notepad and an Excel sheet. As we grow and as our employee count grows and our responsibility grows, the notepad isn't going to cut it anymore, and that's when it's time to start looking at more complex business systems and see how they can help our company and help us during that growth. So which business system do I need, right? There's quite a few out there, and it can be very overwhelming. So hopefully today we can just talk about the processes to help uh, eliminate products and help display the correct products early on in the process, right? We don't want this to drag out for a year if it doesn't have to. It's already painful enough. So if we have the right mindset and tools in place going into it, we can help make that decision much easier. So as we're starting out, you need to really focus on things that you feel like are going to help your processes. So obviously, we're going to need a good accounting system, which you probably already have today. But as you grow, as your product grows, you need a little bit better inventory, um, purchasing, warehousing, that type of thing, some customer service maybe. As our production grows, bill of material and production planning and shop floor control and quality control, uh, things like that all start coming into play. So we need to think about the direction that our company is going and how to manage those business processes. So choosing the right size shoe. So what we don't want to do is select a product that fits us today. We have these great growth aspirations, and then all of a sudden we've outgrown our system in 18 months, right? That is worst case scenario. At the same time, we also don't want to go and look out 10 years ahead and jump on a large enterprise system that we can't run, right? We don't have the personnel, we don't have the employee count, and then it's just going to hold us back. So we have to be conscious when picking out a business system to find the business system that we can run today, but also grow with. And in uh, with modern business systems today, that decision is a lot easier than it used to be. Systems are very scalable now. Most systems now are web native, so It makes the product very easy to scale back during your growth period and then grow within that same system as you're moving forward. So let's talk about the tools that we might need in order to pick out the right system. The first one, RFP. This one, this is a little bit of a double-edged sword. I feel both ways about this. Um, you can you can send out a requirements page for all the software vendors to fill out and see if they can meet your needs, and that's great. What I don't suggest is going out online and printing out an RFP and sending it out to the software vendors. I see a lot of companies do this. Simply go out, Google RFP documents, and then send them out to all their software vendors. And what it'll do is it'll come back and say, okay, well, they can do 50% of my needs. The problem is if we go out and print one of these off or go online and get a generic one, they're not really our needs. So you may be scoring a company wrong because maybe the company doesn't handle multi-currency well, but maybe you don't have multi-currency needs, right? So when looking at an RFP, I would highly suggest that if you're going to send out an RFP, to take the time to create that document yourself. Another option is you can hire an outside consultant. Consultants can be great. What I will say is the grower industry is very unique, and it's probably the only industry that has these true unique aspects to their business, unlike other manufacturing industries. So if you're going to hire an outside consultant, I would strongly suggest possibly looking for a consultant that's already plugged into the horticulture industry. Um, I do believe that if you go outside the horticulture industry and you pull a consultant from there, that they're going to have a hard time truly grasping a lot of your business processes, and I'm not so sure that it will be as much help as you hope it is. And then the third one is wing it, and we see this a lot, unfortunately. And winging it is not a huge problem in the sales cycle. Where winging it gets you in trouble is during the implementation, because once you pick out your software, that's really just the beginning, right? So then you have to implement it, and that's where the success comes from. And if you wing it through the process, you're not really prepared for when that implementation starts. So this usually causes going over budget. It causes frustration, headache, and at the end of the day, you might not be in any better shape than you were before. So what we suggest is the USA process. Understand, simplify, and automate, and I'll go through that real quick. First is just understanding your own business and your own processes. So it's very important to um, really map out all the processes you have today. And what that's going to allow you to do is really highlight those broken processes, the processes that maybe aren't, I hate to use the word streamlined, but I'll use it here, aren't the most streamlined processes, and to identify why they're not, right? Is it a limitation that you have in the software package that you have today? Is it an employee limitation, right? So it's very important to really map out all the business processes that you have today, and maybe just highlight those ones that, hey, this one could be improved, this one could be improved, and it might be all of them, right? So just make sure you're documenting that, and when you bring these software vendors in, it really helps for them to be able to see that, so, and you as well, so that in the demo stage, we can really show how we can improve those processes. Next one is to simplify. Um, how many processes do we have that simply don't need to be there, right? Is there software available that could take the place of some of these processes that we're doing today? A good way to do this is to focus on your customer requirements and then to back out from there, right? Because at the end of the day, if we're doing something that doesn't benefit our customers, why are we doing it at all, really? And then one that drives us nuts is, as you see it here, because we've always done it that way. And what we'll do is we'll come in and somebody will explain their business processes and it'll seem broken or it'll seem like a lot more work that needs to be, and we'll ask them, well, why do you do it this way? And we hear it all the time. Well, that's just the way we've always done it. And be mindful of this when you're looking through these processes, because if you are saying that to yourself, then there's usually a better way to do it. And then to automate. Um, so a general rule of thumb is when picking out a new business system, if it can handle 80 to 90% of your company without any modifications or enhancements, then that's a really good system for you. Uh, this is heightened a lot in the horticulture industry because there is a lot of what we call secret sauce in this industry. So there's a process, there's something in place that you guys do a little bit different than your competition that makes you successful. Um, so, we can't really plan for that for the software to handle that right out of the box. So that secret sauce usually ends up being our 10 to 20% of a customization or an enhancement. So this is very important. Slideware is not software. So let me explain this. When you're going through the sales cycle, when you're going through the demo stages, um, make sure you're seeing software and not slideware. A lot of companies, they'll do a discovery call before the demo so they know what to be prepared for during that demo. And if they don't have uh, necessarily something that you're looking for standard out of the box, it's very easy for them to throw a screenshot up there uh, to make it look like they have it. So we have to be really careful there. If they say it's in testing or if they say it's in development, just go ahead and ask them to see a beta version so that you know that it's actually there. This will save a lot of headache down the road. So let's talk about a few differences with business systems. So obviously, one, you're going to have your pricing right. You're going to have perpetual pricing, where you buy it once and you own the system and then pay a support fee. You'll have the SaaS model where it's software as a service. You pay that yearly. It'll have all your support built in, and then you can have a little bit of a hybrid of both. The the SaaS model is the future of software. It's what every software vendor is going to. And I would say that the perpetual model realistically will probably expire within the next year or so as a whole, from what I'm seeing in the industry. Make sure, like you said, you can identify your business model, what that looks like, the technology behind the software, right? What kind of database do you want it to run on? Is your company familiar with that database? Do you have an IT department that can help work on that software, help develop it, help upgrade it, that type of thing? So things like that are important things to think about. And then is hiring an outside IT service the best way to go there, right? So these are questions that you have to ask yourself when looking at these software. So let's talk a little bit about how we actually come to a decision. Uh, First and foremost, lay out a goal, right? So uh, what does this look like when it's over, right? Are we looking to purchase a new business system simply to have better books, better accounting? Are we going to buy a new business system so that we can better manage our employees? Or all of the above, right? There's no wrong answer here, and there's not too many. We just have to lay out these goals so that when we're looking at these systems, we know if they're going to be able to achieve those goals. An easy way to do this is creating a scorecard. We highly suggest creating scorecards because this is really how you get to that answer. So a lot of times with companies who don't create scorecards, they go by the software that they like the best, right? And it could just be a personal preference. You come in, you see a really good demo, a lot of really cool tricks that the guy was able to perform in the system. It's real flashy. It looks good. Yeah, let's go with this. But the scorecard prevents you from making that mistake. If you can go in and go back to those business processes and lay out a 1 through 5 score of how the new software can handle those broken processes, it creates an unbiased decision. Um, it eliminates the ability for a good sales guy or a good demo guy to come in and win the deal specifically on their talents alone rather than the software. And it keeps everybody level-headed, right? And I suggest creating one for everybody that's going to be in the demo, handing them out, and just letting them go through those scorecards as the demo is going on. Another important aspect is the partner themselves. So you're not just getting the business system, but you're getting a partner with them, right? So that gets overlooked a lot. When somebody comes in for a demo, uh, is the guy giving the demo going to be the one doing your implementation? Or is he a sales guy who doesn't really have to answer for all the yeses that he told you during the demo, right? So think about that during this process. Feel free, and I encourage you to go interview people that will be involved in your project. If you feel good about the product, talk to a few of their implementation guys, see if you have a good fit with them, uh, and that can go a long way. How long should it take? Um, Anybody who tells you that buying a true business system and getting it implemented in less than 6 months is probably not telling you the truth. It's not an easy process. It's going to take your time. It's going to take time, and in this industry specifically, we all have to work around spring. Spring and fall are pretty much dead times for implementation. So think through that and plan for that. And I always tell any grower that's doing full production to really expect a 12-month cycle. Now, that's not 12 months of us coming in and implementing, but calendar months, 12 months, because we're pretty much going to have to be completely hands-off during the spring and then jump in and do as much as we can before busy season in the fall kicks back up. So, so that 6 to 12 month is a realistic expectation, and anything less than that, I would argue is not too realistic. So, a big piece of this is your change management, and this is an internal discussion. Um, it's how do I know that now's the right time to purchase new software? Um, and the first point is really the main one, right? The pain of staying is greater than the fear of change. So if you have broken systems due to your software, you feel like, hey, this is costing me money. I can't grow because I'm being held back by these broken processes. It's time to move forward, right? If you can answer those questions and feel that way, then now is the time, right? A lot of times, new requirements from the government will drive these decisions. Um, there can be multiple outside sources, but that pain of staying over the fear of change is usually the one that says, okay, now's the time where we can get serious. No decision is not an option, and let's move forward with one of these packages. Begin with the end in mind. So, what I highly encourage before you start looking at demos or anything is to go around the room to all your key players and have them give you their definition of what success looks like. Because success is going to be different. This answer will be different with every employee you have, every user you have, I should say. So, think about that, and then keep all of those in your mind when going through this demo stages and when talking with your consultants, and see if you feel like, hey, these guys can meet everybody's goals at the end of this. Stay focused on that goal. Whatever it is however you answered that question, focus on that through the process, because the implementation is not easy. It's not short, and it's not fun, right? Nobody enjoys doing a new business system implementation, but it's a necessary evil. So stay focused on that decision that you made in the beginning of what your goal is for the end of this, and not get too caught up in the day-to-day struggles, and usually uh, everybody comes out happy in the end. So very simple formula here. The product plus the partner plus the process equals success. So there's three aspects to this. The product itself. which we've talked a little bit about today. Um, when you pick out the correct product and you do have the right partner, you're pretty well on your way to success. Now, I will say that your internal processes are a big piece of this. If you can make yourself available to the consultants, if you can make yourself available to the training and to the whole process, you're going to have success at the end of this. We hit all of this at a very high level today. I had 20 minutes and I'm at 19 minutes and 50 seconds, so I really enjoyed our time. And again, we can talk about this in much more depth if you would like. My contact info is here. Feel free to reach out and ask for me. I'll be more than happy to sit down and talk to you and answer any questions you might have. So I enjoyed it. Hope you guys did, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.